Hey, what's up, good people? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending the time you watch this video. Yeah. Something interesting just came up in my mind about stagnating at one point. Yeah. What is that situation that you've been stagnating in your life for so long and you don't understand why and how, but you've been camping at that mountain for so long and things are not even moving. You're just camping there, going rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds on that mountain that you are at. So I just want to encourage and tell you this that it is high time you break camp and advance from that mountain that you've been camping for so long, that situation that you've been camping in for so long. For how long will you keep on crying over a situation that has passed and seems not to change? Yes, it is true that God changes situation, transforms issues, changes hearts of human beings. But it reaches a point that you need to be in spirit and realize that you've camped in that mountain for so long, and it is high time for you to break camp and advance. Which situation in life have you been crying over and over and things are not changing? What are job opportunities you've been crying for so long and things have not been turning out to be good for you? Which place of work have you been crying for so long and in need and desire for things to transform and things have not been changing? Yeah. It can be a relationship you've been crying for over and over and wishing at one point things will change. Or it can be that girlfriend or boyfriend you've been crying for so long and telling God, I know you'll change him, I know you'll do this and that. But I want to tell you that it's high time you break up in advance. For how long will you keep on crying over that thing that maybe God has rejected, but because you've been busy with your crying or you're camping there, you've not been keen to see or understand God has commanded you to move on. Yeah. So I'm here to encourage you and to tell you that it's high time you break camp and advance. Which place have you been staying for so long and things have been frustrating you at that place? You've not been getting peace. Yeah. Maybe your children have been dying at that place. Maybe things have not been working out. And God is giving you a signal and telling you it's high time you need to break camp and advance. But since you're too enclosed in your crying, in your camping there in rotating at that mountain in that mountain, you cannot see what God is speaking or telling you or guiding you to move on. Which area have you been staying for so long and there is no growth, there is no any developments you're doing, things are just there, and maybe at some point God wants whisper to you, is that time I want you to move, is that time I want you to break camp, but you've been there but you're not keen to see what God is telling you. Remember the story of was it Abraham and Lot, when they were struggling and fighting over a certain place, and God told Abraham, I want you to move to the other side and leave this other side for your cousin. And if Abraham could not listen to God and break camp and advance, he could not be blessed. If he could just be busy fighting on what they were owning at that particular place, things could not have changed. Yeah. Let's talk about the story of Israelites. When God commanded Moses to bring them from Egypt and take them to Israel, to the promised land. They moved and reached to this place, Mount Horeb, where were being given the promises or the Ten Commandments. Yeah. Then at this place, they camped here for so long. They were just rotating the mountain. Some complaining, God, Moses, why did you bring us to die at this mountain? At least there we could be working for Farah and we could be eating or something like that. Even when I'm sure when you're camping at that mountain, you forget even how God has brought you maybe from far. So you're just there and being satisfied with your own problems, being satisfied with you not growing, and you're just there crying the same way the Israelites did at that mountain. Then God told Samuel that tell the Israelites it's high time they have to break camp in advance and move to the promised land. Yeah. In life, you need to be very keen and sensitive and hear what God is telling and speaking in your life. Maybe it's time God is telling you it's time to move, but you are there still asking people, hey, is it good if I move? Maybe you are living at a place and God has told you, I want you to move to another place. You start asking people, how do you think if I'll move? It was not a conference call when God called you, or on when God was speaking to you and asking you to move. But here you go wrong, start asking people's opinion on how you're supposed to do it, on how you're supposed to go about it. We end up missing them, that thing that God has promised you. Maybe God wants you at a particular place at a particular time, at that moment, because your blessing maybe has been assigned or allocated at that place for you at that particular time. But because you are busy inquiring from people to know what they have or their opinion, you end up missing the blessing of God that has planned for you at the end. You are in that toxic relationship, you've been crying, things have not been working out, but you are busy telling God, there's that way you go before God to pray. Instead of asking Him for His will to be done, you're forcing your will to God and telling God, please let this man change, please God, let this woman change, let this and this and that. But God is busy telling you, is high time I want you to move on. For how long will you keep crying over King Saul? I have rejected him, yeah? That is our God who is guiding us and is telling us that it's high time you have to move on. It's high time you have to break camp in advance. And you are busy crying over that person that God has told you to move on. And if you're not keen enough, you end up struggling because you didn't listen to what God was telling you at that particular time. You didn't listen to what God was guiding you on what to do. We stagnate in situations in life, and they cost us a lot because we are not keen to hear what God is telling you. In those situations, maybe you are there struggling with that thing, and maybe it was not even God's idea at first place. Yeah. So I'm here to encourage you and tell you that learn to listen to what God is telling you. If He says, let's break camp, let's move, let's go and possess, let's go and attack, do as God guides you, because He know at that particular timing when you reach that place, He has already prepared something in store for you. So let us not be rigid, or maybe be sticking with the things that God wants us to surrender or leave them, but we are there sticking to those situations. So I want to encourage you, instead of struggling with stagnant situations in life, or maybe just struggling at one place, struggling to do some things and they're not working out. Let's sit down and ask God, is it your will? What do you want from me? What am I supposed to do next? God, is it your will for me to be here? Is it high time I need to move to go to another place? Lord, at this job, at this workplace, maybe I've been intimidated. Maybe my self esteem has even been brought down. Maybe things are not working. God, what is your plan? Maybe God has a good thing for you at the end, but you're there struggling to push, to push, to push. Or maybe you're there struggling, maybe even to force people, like, to do some certain favors for you at that particular place. And God has told you already, it's high time you need to leave this place. Or maybe your time of staying at this place is over. You need to go to another place. And God will bless you so much. The moment you just obey what God is telling you to do, let me assure you, things will work out. There'll be no struggle. God will provide for you, God will make it for you. Ask the Lord, is it your will for me to do this thing at this time or this particular time? Is it your will for me to be here at this particular place? Is it your will for me to be doing what I'm doing right now? If it is God's will, He will give you the ease. He will provide, He will make way, He will make every situation and environment, everything to favor you at that thing or that particular thing that you're doing at that particular place. But you see, you're stagnating, you are camping at that place for so long, and God already commanded you to break camp in advance, but you don't want to obey because you're fearing, how will I start? How will I now get? How will I restart? Like, starting is a big challenge or a big problem for us. But the moment you involve God, there'll be nothing hard for you starting over. He will make things work out until you wonder, has He commanded you to live? Don't waste time. Have faith. And it will come with a lot of challenges, but He will see you through it. And it will be very difficult, but He'll see you through it. He will provide, He will make way. Is He commanding you to break camp from that maybe business you're doing, you want you to start another one, but you're feeling afraid? Have faith in the Lord and break camp in advance. God will open door. God will make way. God will come through for you. Yeah. So do not get discouraged. When it's time to break camp in advance, kindly do so. Break camp in advance. For how long will you be mourning over situation? Maybe you are mourning over failed relationship, mourning over failed interviews, mourning over failed jobs that never appeared. For how long will you keep mourning over those things that God has rejected? Yeah. He says that I have rejected that. I want something new for you. And you know, the Bible says that God has good plans for our life, plans for prosperity, future, and good hope. So we should not be sticking so much to our plans, because He's the final say upon our life. When He commands you to do something, He has a plan. He has the blueprint of how everything will go and how everything will be. Just adhere, just obey, just do His will, and you will see the goodness of God, what He will have done. Yeah. And that is how our God works. So I'm here to encourage you. Maybe you're at that stagnant position for so long and you don't understand what you're supposed to do. It's high time you break camp and advance. It's high time you break camp in advance, and you will see the goodness of the Lord in that promised land, or that place that God is taking you, or I mean, in that idea that God is making you to start or have in life. Yeah. Let's learn to listen to God and what He wants for life. I pray that this video encourage you so much and uplift you in the things you're doing, in your plannings and everything. And I want to encourage you, before you start doing anything in your life, your plans, always involve God. Always ask God, is it your will? If it isn't God's will, don't do it. But if it is God's will, go ahead and do it. He will guide you through everything. The challenges that will come along in that area that you are in, God will fight them for you. Yeah. May God bless you so much. If you're new in this channel, kindly remember to subscribe, and see you in my next video. Bye.